Plaintiff Sherry Martinez is suing her son, Christopher Goodnow, for the value of a necklace. Sherry says when her son lived with her, he verbally abused her and physically abused his young siblings. But Christopher says his mother was never a part of his life growing up, and he denies ever being physically abusive with his siblings.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Jeanine Pirro presiding.
Hello, Jimmy.
Afternoon, Judge. You may be seated.
Sherry Martinez is suing her son, Christopher, for a necklace. Sherry, tell me about this necklace.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm suing my son, Christopher, for a necklace that I had given him to pawn, and he was supposed to return it, and he has not done so.
Tell me about the necklace itself.
The necklace is a religious charm. It is, my husband's background is Hispanic. So when we went to Mexico, the necklace was blessed by a pastor, and it just has sentimental value. But due to financial difficulty, I had to pawn it, and it just means a lot to me. It's
all right. So you said that you asked your son to pawn it.
Yes.
Did you pawn it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is it still at the pawn shop?
Yes, Your Honor. The reason why it's in the pawn shop is because she used the money to have an affair on her husband.
She used the money to what?
Have an affair on her husband.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Is her husband your father?
No, ma'am.
So you're taking a stance and saying that you're going to punish her for having an affair?
I don't think I did have a favor towards her as her son.
You took it to the pawn shop?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's sitting in the pawn shop now. How do we know it's in the pawn shop?
You have to pay a monthly fee to keep it in there.
All right.
He gave me the receipt, and I continued to pay it. There's a long story behind all
I'll bet
this.
there is. Go ahead.
For approximately 16 months, Christopher lived with me. He had gotten evicted from his father and his grandmother's house, and I have evidence of that.
This is your son. I imagine
Yeah.
he lived longer than 16 months with you.
No, not with me.
Who'd you grow up with?
I originally grew up with my dad.
With your dad. Okay, where's your dad now?
He is in Florida.
I'm sorry?
He's in Florida.
He's in Florida. Okay. All right. So you live with your mother your whole life, a total of 16 months.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what's it like when he moves in?
When he moved in, at first it was great. You know, he hadn't got a job. He didn't have no place to go. So it was my turn to step up to the plate and do what was right. At first he didn't have a job. He got a job, he'd quit it. Get another job, quit it. Wouldn't keep working. Shortly thereafter, his girlfriend moved in.
Are you the girlfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your name?
Danielle Cyphers.
Okay. All right. So you move in with your mother. Do you have an agreement that you're going to pay your mother, or do you tell him that you want him to pay rent?
Yeah, he was supposed to pay $75 a week for himself and $100 a week once she moved in.
All right. So there was an agreement on your part that when the girlfriend moves in that you would up the rent a little bit?
But he never paid any rent the entire time he lived with me. I supported
For
him
16 months?
For 16 months.
You never paid any rent for 16 months?
We never had an agreement, Your Honor. We never wrote any paperwork down or anything like that. I got evicted from my grandparents' house, and she allowed me to live there. And
why did you get evicted from your grandparents' house?
I lost my job at the time, and my grandmother gave me 2 weeks to find another one, and at the time, nobody was hiring. And so I was living on the street.
What do you mean the time nobody's hiring? Go to McDonald's. They're always hiring.
I tried everywhere. They were not hiring at the time. It took me almost 2 months to get that job I had.
All right, so where do you get off bringing your girlfriend and promising to pay your mother another $25 a week if you don't have a job?
I never promised to pay her anything.
So you think you're going to move into your mother's house. How old are you at the time?
I am 20.
20?
Yes, ma'am.
With your girlfriend and freeload off your mother?
No, we had an agreement that I would babysit and do chores around the house.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Okay, you have babies? Do you have younger kids?
I have younger kids, but I have a daughter that's 15.
Yeah.
And I'm also married. I have a husband. And I don't work at the present time. So once in a while, I had gone on a trip, and he did help supervise during that time. But my 15-year-old and my husband took care of my children. Christopher basically lived there and did nothing.
All right. During the 16 months that he's living with you, you said you had an agreement. Do you have anything in writing?
No, it was verbal between us.
Okay. And at the end of the first month, did you say enough?
No, Your Honor. I mean, he's my son, and I gave him benefit of the doubt.
Okay. Do you understand, Christopher, that the way to, survive in this world is to get a job and pay
Yes,
your
ma'am.
bills?
I was trying to get another job when I had a job with her husband. I was a driver for a plumbing company, and on top of that,
I got him.
Don't be so proud of yourself. You should get your son a job.
She told me that she would take
Well,
me
why
back.
wouldn't you get your son a job?
Because I helped him the entire time. He blackmailed me the entire time that he lived there.
How did he blackmail you?
The affair that I'd had.
Are you blackmailing your mother?
No, ma'am. I'm sure not.
I have
You're not
evidence.
paying her. All right. You're bringing your girlfriend in, and you know she's having an affair. Did you tell her husband?
No, we did not.
Oh, that's good.
He kept blackmailing me, so I told my husband.
You told your husband?
Yeah, and I have evidence that he is where it shows that if I evict him and stuff, it's just a proof that he wouldn't return the necklace. The top one shows where it says, if you evict me, you won't get the necklace. Both of us will lose.
Plaintiff Sherry Martinez is suing her son, who she says blackmailed her regarding an affair she had while she was married.
Okay, so why not just trade even? I pay for the necklace to get out, and you give me the car. What's this about?
When I first bought my car, I had to be put on her insurance.
How do you buy a car if you don't have a job?
Exactly.
I had a job.
I put it down.
Hold on, Mom.
I had a job. I was working at McDonald's. She was giving me back a ride back.
See?
This was after I got evicted from my grandparents' house. I got a job. She was taking me for the first couple of months. I later then got the car. I paid for it out of my pocket. I later then had to get put on her insurance, and she had to be put on the title of the car.
Right.
She had a company she owed money to, so they later found that the car was in both of our names, so they came in, they seized it to settle the account. So I later lost my car over it. And
Okay.
and then she received the car back. They released it back to her because nobody bought it from the auction. They released it back to her because it was in her name. The title was released to her. At the time I was working with her husband, she wanted me to pay her a whole month's of my paycheck, and then on top of that, she wanted me to be able to
Did you ever give your mother any money?
Yes, ma'am, I sure did. I gave her 2 checks.
Is he lying, Mom?
Yes.
No, ma'am.
He's lying about some of
What
it.
do you know about this? Do you know anything about this? Step up here. Do you know anything about these conversations that they had?
Yes.
You
I was-
lived with them for a while.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Talk to me.
I was there when we did get the car back. He did give her a check it was the first month check that he got working with her husband.
How much was that check?
191.
Okay.
That's right.
We agree
Well,
on
but
one
he's not
thing.
telling you the whole story.
Yeah, go ahead.
And she did make an agreement with him that she would give him the car back.
Did you?
That wasn't the agreement, Your Honor.
What was the
agreement?
agreement?
Was so that everybody could part on good terms.
Right.
The agreement was for the month of August, there was 5 Fridays. I got him a job working with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
So the agreement was for 4 weeks, he gives me his paycheck to help me and my husband get caught up, be able to get the necklace out, and then he was to pay for the car. After that, I wanted my name off of it, and I wanted insurance on it. So everything
Okay.
was legal. That was the
Name
agreement.
off. Okay. Why
now-
are you here today?
I'm Victoria Patel Wilson. I actually stayed with Sherry.
You live there too?
I actually just stayed with her briefly in May. I'm a friend. We've known each other for 26 years.
Okay.
And I came and stayed with her for a couple of weeks in early May.
Uh-huh.
And I was a witness to a lot of these things that were going on.
What were you
at the
witness to?
time. Well, unfortunately, during that time, he was completely disrespectful.
How?
Oh my goodness. I mean, he would just cuss her out all the time, and he was
Why?
very rude to her.
Do you
He's
cuss
just-
your mother out?
He's an angry.
You never
he's an
cursed
angry
at your
young man.
mother?
No, ma'am.
Oh my goodness. Oh
What
my
would he
heavens.
be angry about?
Well, he would get very frustrated, I guess. I mean, a lot of it was he wasn't keeping a job. There was a lot of frustration going on. They were having financial struggles.
Right.
And temper started to flare. And when the temper started to flare, he was actually physically and verbally abusive.
To whom?
Not just to Sherry verbally abusive, but
Did he ever hit you?
he hit the children.
I know,
slapped
I'm
my
asking Mama.
No, he slapped my younger children. He's choked his girlfriend.
Did you slap your younger sister?
No, ma'am. You know, young children,
Sisters,
I never.
brothers?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I have an
was-
injunction
You saw
against-
this?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you have?
Actually,
I have an injunction that the judge gave.
I was actually a witness to him hitting his younger brother, Jesse,
How old is Jesse?
12. And then she and I were in her office, and his baby sister, Raina, came running and crying. Her whole side of her face was red, and she said that Chris had slapped her in the face.
All right,
And
that's
she's
not
4
true.
years old.
Harassing me after telling him I was in the hospital. After I got home, I told him to leave me alone. He has threatened to break up my marriage, has harassed many other occasions. He has choked and hit his pregnant girlfriend. And are you pregnant?
No, ma'am, I lost the baby on August 24th.
due to the stress of the stuff we've gone
Sorry, you
through.
lost the baby.
It's okay.
Why'd you lose the baby?
We believe it's because of stress, but it was a fetal death. We don't actually know the cause of it.
It's because of stress?
We think that's what it's because of, but we don't know the exact reason why. There was something wrong with the baby.
At the time, Your Honor, she got into my girlfriend's face when she was pregnant, threatened to hit her.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Did he ever hit you?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
Did he ever choke you?
No, ma'am.
I was a witness to an incident, Your Honor.
Why is she going to lie that you hit your mother's children? Why is she lying about that? She doesn't look like she's got any dog in this fight.
Your Honor, because my mother's vindictive and so is her friend. They will do anything.
She doesn't even know you. How's your mother vindictive? She didn't know you for all those years. She takes you in. You don't have a job. All right. And you, it sounds like to me that not only do I have a judge finding in your mother's behalf who knows more of the facts than I do, but, you know, I've got you telling me that your mother's having an affair and your mother's telling me that you're blackmailing her over it.
Oh, man.
And I don't like what I'm hearing here. I don't have the time to delve into it, but I don't like what I'm feeling over here. You think you have an anger problem?
No, ma'am, I sure don't.
You ever been arrested?
Once for trespassing.
Where were you trespassing?
Movie theater.
Huh?
A movie theater.
Why did you just say her house?
Because he had one against her house,
He
too.
never trespassed at my house, ma'am.
Yeah. It's in the courts in Sarasota.
Her
Who's
parents,
got proof of that? Anybody?
her parents got it against
That
me.
was over a year ago.
So there is one.
One.
Your
There is
parents
one.
brought it
Not
against
anymore,
him.
but
So
over a
stop
year.
trying to shade it to make him look like he's a nice guy, because then that tells me you're shading everything else.
Ma'am.
You know, there's a rule that if someone lies about one thing, you can assume that they're lying about other things as well.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Sit down. Both of you sit down. Where's the necklace now? In the pawn shop?
Yes,
Whose name is it in?
It's in mine.
Okay.
I can't go
Who's
get it.
got the receipt?
I do.
She does.
You can't get it because it's in his name.
Yes.
Give me that, please. Chain with religious charm.
Defendant Christopher Goodnow denies owing his mother, who says Christopher was physically abusive to his siblings.
Christopher,
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to take this pen
Okay.
and I want you to sign this.
All right.
Sherry Martinez.
The pawn shop, Your Honor, said there has to be a power of attorney. That's the only way that they will return it to me.
Sign that. Sign right under there.
The reason
Okay.
why I refuse to sign the power of attorney is because
Oh, no, you're not refusing to sign anything. Sign that right now. Now, what are you looking for, Mom, other than that?
You know, I think all the misery that he's put me through, you know, he should have to help because he made me suffer all these months. I couldn't get it out when I had the money because he wouldn't release it.
Here's the bottom line. You got your necklace, okay? Did you learn a lesson?
Yeah.
Seems to me, Christopher, you have an anger problem. You think?
no, ma'am.
Maybe you have reason to be angry. Maybe you're mad at your mother because your mother didn't raise you. Maybe you're mad because you don't have a job. Maybe you're mad because I don't know, and I don't care. But here's the bottom line. You've been arrested once, you're going to be arrested again. Don't ever put your hands on her. Don't ever put your hands on your mother's children. Keep your hands to yourself. Get a job. Verdict for the plaintiff in the sense that you now have ownership of the necklace. You don't also get money, but the pawn's in your name. Verdict for the plaintiff. So be it.